This painting is called Corralitos. This is where the Bargetto winery gets most of their grapes. It's called the Regan Vineyards. It's a parcel of land that was looked at many, many years ago by Lawrence Bargetto, and he was unable to acquire the property years and years ago, and so this fourth generation was able to purchase the property that he had picked out 50 years ago. Anyway, here, this particular painting I painted because I like that the location. I like, again, the time of the day with the long shadows and so on. This is 36 by 40 and oil on canvas, but it's got a nice feel to it. There's a couple of little figures that I added in there only because it was a personal painting. Gazebo is two figures. One is me and one is Lawrence Bargetto, who was the original person I worked with at the Bargetto Winery in 1971. Okay, this is a painting of Indians. Indians is part of the Las Padres National Forest, and this particular area, Camp Hunter Liggett, is 168,000 acres. It was sold to the government by William Randolph Hearst. This particular little valley is a composite of several really nice areas that where I've painted in the past. The trees have been transplanted and moved in, but anyway, it's just essentially a composition of all the really beautiful spots in the area that I've known to like, and I return to this area every year in April to enjoy the lupin and all the wildlife and paint. West side. This is the view from Western Drive. As you go up Western Drive, there's a cul-de-sac called Western Court, and at the end of Western Court are two vacant lots that are probably too expensive for anybody to buy. But anyway, it's a good spot to sit and have a picnic, or you can look at Monterey Bay from this location. I added the fence just as an optical device to bring the eye into the painting more, and that also helps the diminishing size of the fence post allows you to see that the posts go over and down into a bit of a hill. This palette is based on a Zorn palette, which is just 4 colors: black, white, red, and yellow ochre. And also, actually 5 colors and blue, Prussian blue. But anyway, that's why this is sort of a tonalist looking painting. This painting, I have to admit that I didn't get down and do a plein air study of this painting. It's just too hard for me with my disability. So the way this painting happened was that a person who collects my work was at my house showing me he was photographing the paintings that I had for the show, and he had forgotten that he went for a walk after he photographed my work, and this is a photograph that he took, and he was paging through my paintings, showing them to his wife, and this photograph popped up after my paintings were shown to her, and he said, "Wow, that's really a great painting. I didn't see that one," and it occurred to him that this would make a good painting, so he shared that with me, and that's how this painting came to life. So it's a composite of several photographs. I've removed things, I've added things, but I got it to a point where I like it. And throughout most of these paintings, I've removed man-made objects. Like in this case, this is located where the surfer statue is located on West Cliff Drive. So I removed that and added a few other things, like rocks and what have you. Good. Yeah, the sweeping clouds direct the eye back into the painting. The movement is sort of up to the left, but yet it sort of bounces back and moves the eye around. The reflection in the waters, I tried not to get corny with that and just have a little hint. It seems like I'm learning as I paint that you can use certain graphic devices to get a point across, but then you also have to use judgment and kind of leave them wanting more. So, and that's kind of the lure of painting. The atmosphere in this is getting to where I like it to be. So if you look at the large rock cropping on the right, and then as a cliff comes up to it, you can see the value shift. You can really see the warm colors against the rock compared against the hillside that has some of the ice plant on it. You really get a sense of depth, and that's what I'm trying to go for with my work. Serenity, though, is really what I'm painting. I'm trying to paint serenity. Live oak. This is Corcoran Lagoon. This painting is 48 by 48 inches. This is located where the radio station in Santa Cruz is, KSCO. This painting came from a small on-location painting that I did and some photographs. And then I went back and photographed certain areas that I needed more information. A little different timing of the day to enhance the feeling of late afternoon. This painting almost didn't make it into this exhibit because I struggled and struggled and struggled with this painting. I could not make it work. I had so much foreground in it that it didn't work until I introduced the pond scum on the top, and then the pond scum over the top of the reflected trees in the water really worked to make this come together. So I have many iterations of this painting where I redid it over and over and over again until I got it to the point where I felt it was good enough to show. So I'm happy with this painting. Again, I'm painting serenity, and it has a nice feel to it. I think that one of the things I have to fight as a painter coming to painting from a graphic design background is that in graphic design, everything's about lining things up straight, equal proportions, dividing areas into grids and so on and so forth. And so with that kind of embedded mindset, I really have to watch myself that I don't get things too even and too organized. So with this painting, I found that the horizon, not the horizon line, but yeah, I guess it is the horizon line. It's where the water stops at the background. I broke that up quite a bit just because in the first go around it was too even and too horizontal. So adding the tree trunks and the roots and the scum and some of the other things really helped to access that. But I like the way the light is falling on the hillside in the background, and it has a nice feel to it. Yeah. Elkhorn Nocturne. Elkhorn Nocturne 2. Oil on canvas, 40 inches by 30 inches. I had a lady, when I hung this, the lady came in, she said, I live out near Elkhorn Slough, and she said, I've come in that area, and I've seen that scene. I know that feeling, I know that time of day, and I know not that particular location, but she said that, you've really captured how beautiful that area is in that late afternoon where the sun is just starting to go down. So I feel like this is a success. I try not to be corny with my work, and it's easy to become corny, and so I'm trying to throttle back some of the romantic aspects of it and just have it again be more about serenity and a meditative experience when you're looking at the work. I feel good about the atmosphere, the handling of the atmosphere. The color palette is really an unusual color palette, yellow ochres and eggplant and claret colors, rich greens and so on. But it's an interesting painting. I like this painting. Pogonip Hillside. Pogonip is an area in Santa Cruz that used to be a popular area located off of River Street across from the tannery. The reason I painted this painting is that I've always liked the hillside at Pogonip. It was pointed out to me by my grandmother when I was a young boy, and she said, if you look at it, and I was looking at it from her backyard that overlooked Santa Cruz and the University Hills, she said, if you look, you can see it's a horse lying on his side. And I looked, and sure enough, and so I've always liked this particular scene here. You're looking at it from the university towards Santa Cruz, but what you're seeing is the flank of the horse. His shoulder is where the tree is in the upper left, and then it goes down and then up to his haunches where the little trees are on the right in the distance. Pogonip stands for polo, golf, and a little nip of alcohol. This painting is 48 by 48. It's oil on canvas. This is the San Lorenzo River, where Brent's 40 Creek exits, or spills into San Lorenzo River. This is the view that I remember when I was 13 or 14 years old in 1953. There was a fellow named Charlie who had a couple of kids. He was married to an American Indian woman and had two half-breed kids that we used to play with, Billy and Penny. And anyway, Charlie would rent these paddle boats and rent canoes and rowboats, and we would not only swim in the river and fish in the river, but we could use these boats that we could rent and paddle up and down the river all the way up to close to the tannery. You could not go past the shore break, though. The trestle was kind of where that was the boundary going toward the ocean. This is, again, kind of certainly an idealized painting from memory of a 14-year-old. And you can see up in the hills in the upper right-hand corner, that's where the university is now, and that's just pristine. There's no university. This is just prior to the 1955 flood that wiped out this whole area. It was all under about 6 feet of water. And so the Army Corps of Engineers came after 1955 and created the levee, destroying the bucolic nature of this beautiful San Lorenzo River that ran right through the heart of Santa Cruz. It's a tragic loss for the town in terms of its soul, really. It was so beautiful, those eucalyptus trees hanging over the water, and free access to the river. It was a different time, but still love Santa Cruz and all it has to offer in terms of beauty. I like my handling of the eucalyptus trees here. I think that it's successful. I'm happy with this painting. Plus, I've realized a childhood memory which I can share with others. Natural bridges. It's natural bridges in Santa Cruz. It's oil on canvas. It's 40 inches by 18 inches. This painting started as a sunrise painting. It was so intense that most people couldn't live with it. They had an adverse reaction to it. So what I did is, rather than having it be dawn with the sun coming up between the two broken arches, I dialed it in to be around noontime. So it's an interesting play of light, some nice reflections and so on, but it kind of captures the ideal scene out there at Natural Bridges. Seems to have good movement, good eye movement. It's nice brushwork. It's not too self-conscious. It's not overworked. It's a fresh painting. I like it. Now, the next painting is called Twin Lakes. This is an interesting painting. Schwan Lagoon is one of the twin lakes. The first twin lake is the harbor, which was dredged out and made into, it was a lagoon dredged out and made into a harbor. This essentially has not changed much in the years. The stand of trees on the left now are mostly dead eucalyptus trees covered in white residue from the local birds and what have you. But this goes back to a time when this area was completely pristine. There's no telephone poles, no homes, nothing in there that would get in the way of just an ideal kind of appearance. I painted this painting because I've always loved this location. Also, in my mother's home was a very small plein air painting done by Coeur de Gavre that's 6 inches by 6 inches, and I always wanted to get that painting. And so I got that painting, and that little plein air painting inspired me to do this big one. I also took photographs, did an on-site painting of this, got some historical photos, other historical paintings of this location, and this painting is more or less of a composite. Anyway, this painting was done from a small painting that I did, and also a small painting, historical painting that I did, that was done by Coeur de Gavre, whose work I like to collect. This particular painting is in two locations at one time. So the painting that's at the exhibition at the Government Center is actually a G. Clay print, 48 by 48, and then the original painting is at another exhibition. It's oil on canvas at the Santa Cruz Art League, the 85th Annual California Statewide Landscape Exhibition. And that's it.